Hi, everybody. I'm Danielle, your travel boo, and this is Danielle's Travels. I'm really excited to come to you today because this is my first travel vlog. I am going to pray and see how this goes, but I'm really excited to just start my travel vlog. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I said, hey, why not do it now? Um, so again, my name is Danielle. I am a teacher by day, a nomad by heart. I'm also a business owner, daughter, sister, aunt, friend, cousin, all of that. So I am coming to you today, all my travel boos and bows, to talk about my trip to Guatemala. I recently went to Guatemala. And if you don't know, Guatemala is a country in Central America. Guatemala is awesome. It gets a bad reputation, I want to say, just because of history. But Guatemala is really a nice country. I didn't go everywhere, of course. So I actually went to Antigua, Guatemala. And I was in Guatemala City for a little part of my journey there. I only stayed 3 full days while in the country, so I didn't get to see all the sites that I wanted to actually go to, but my time there was so well spent. Um, so, because like I said, I'm a teacher. I was there during my spring break. So Monday, the 28th, was when I arrived in Guatemala City. I took a shuttle basically out to Antigua, Guatemala. I stayed in Antigua for 2 full days. And then my third day, which was that Thursday, I stayed in Antigua, Guatemala, um, and did kind of a day thing. Then that early evening, I went back out to Guatemala City. So the country of Guatemala, it only has one airport. So I had to fly into Guatemala City and then fly out of Guatemala City to get back into the U.S. So I am going to go ahead, and this is just my intro, but I did take some videos while in Guatemala that this video is going to be compiled of, as well as some photos. I took a lot of photos. So this is kind of my journey. I guess just to start, I would encourage more people to go. I think now more than ever, more people are traveling to Guatemala, as well as many other Central American countries. There are a couple who that are kind of underrated that I still want to get to, like Honduras, El Salvador. But more and more people are actually venturing out there. So this is just my take on it. There are other travel vlogs out there. I actually gained a lot of knowledge from the other travel vlogs that I watched before I actually went to Guatemala. And you might be asking, okay, why did you even decide to go to Guatemala for spring break? Sounds crazy. If I was somebody in customs, I would be questioning you the entire time. Well, first of all, I think, like I stated before, there are many more people now traveling to Guatemala for tourism and vacationing. But I was really trying to get into traveling more. It's not post COVID, but things are a little better than they have been. So I was trying to think of somewhere to go, and I've been to Miami, when you think about the beaches and all that. And then when I compared ticket prices, I'm like, Miami, if I'm going to pay $300 for a plane ticket, I could go somewhere else. I can go out of the country. Um, so I actually looked at a YouTube video of popular destinations to go to that are inexpensive, right? And I think in 2022 or something. And this was back in January when I booked my trip. And in the video, Guatemala came up. And so I never thought of Guatemala. I was actually thinking about going to Portugal. But then I thought, and I said, well, I have to actually cross the seas, right? It's going to be a longer trip, a longer plane ride. It's not summer, so I don't have, that leeway of having an extended trip. So I wanted to do something quick that would still be fun, get my, bang for my buck, but also do something international because I actually got my passport last year. So it's never too late. I'm 37 years old, never been out of the country until this year. So I have the opportunity to go. And like I'm a traveler at heart, like I said before. So I wanted to do something that was going to be fun. I kind of sort of plan my trip. So I'll talk a little bit about, my trip as well. I don't want to make this video too long, and I do want to get in, my journey. I might split this video into different parts. I don't really know. So we'll see. I might even just put this video up and then do the other video later. We'll see how it goes, right? But so I looked up tickets for flights, and I said, what? So I think I found my ticket originally for like 280 without all the extras, and I ended up they changed the time of my flight. It was way too early, so I ended up changing it. And you know what, I don't think I paid a difference because I actually had to call the airline because something happened with my card. So it wasn't, if it was, it might have been a little over 300 from what I can remember. So it wasn't a big deal at all. So yeah, so I said, okay, Guatemala it is. So I actually purchased my ticket in January and then solidified my stay, I want to say late February, early March. And I did go solo. I went solo. I think I'm going to do a separate video regarding solo travel, especially as a single Black woman. I've never been afraid of solo travel. I consider solo travel as, going anywhere. I live in Chicago, in the Chicago area, and there's crime here. And I have to be, on alert, right? Or practice caution. But it doesn't deter me from living my life. So I still go out and I still do things. I'm a very fun spirited person. I like having a life and doing things and not waiting on other people to live my life. So if you're that type of person, you're not afraid to talk to people. I wouldn't call myself a big extrovert, but I can handle myself. I know how to speak to people. I pick up on social cues, right? So I'm like, that's my personality type. You don't have to be a type A or whatever to take care of yourself on solo travel. I'm not codependent. I wouldn't say I'm like super independent. I'm a person who I'm independent, but I can be interdependent. And I think that's important with solo travel because you can't just be to yourself. You actually have to talk to people and you have to ask for directions and you have to talk to other travelers, right? So a lot of people, I think I'll do the solo travel video next because there's so much I can go into about solo travel and I don't want to go on too much of a tangent. But yeah, so that's why Guatemala. And I think I really want to take on Central America because it's just so beautiful. And people go to Panama and they go to Costa Rica, but there are, other countries there that are just as beautiful. So while I was in Guatemala, like I said, I stayed in the city of Antigua, Guatemala. And actually, it's not Antigua, comma, Guatemala, like Antigua. So many people get it confused with like the island of Antigua. But it's actually Antigua, Guatemala. So while I was on a photography tour, my tour guide and photographer Rudy Giron. I think it's his last name, Giron. I'll put everybody's information in the video, um, in the description, just because my trip would not have been what it was if it were not for my wonderful guides that I met, just people along the way. So I'm gonna tag everybody. I might tag a video of there were some people on, I went on a volcano tour, so I'll go over everything I did, but there were some people on the volcano tour with me, and they have a vlog that's like been out there, and I was like, oh cool, so I might tag their video so you can see all our volcano tour. um but so basically Antigua, he said, my he's a photographer, he's awesome, look him up, I'm gonna tag him. But he said that Antigua means former. So they went through a lot to rename the city. There's a long history behind it. I might do a history video. I can't remember everything, but basically Antigua means former, and so it means former Guatemala. Because I believe there in Antigua used to be the capital. It used to be the capital. Now it's Guatemala City. So Antigua, Guatemala is the full name of the city. So while I was in Antigua, Guatemala, that's where I stayed and did the bulk of my excursions. I went on an ATV Mountain Tour, which was really, really cool. I talk about the tour in another video that I will link to this video or include in this video. I did a photography walk, which was a couple hours. The ATV tour was half a day. It felt like a full day. But I did the photography walk the next day. After the photography walk, I did a volcano tour. It was a volcano de Pacaya is where I went. So that was really cool. A very, very new experience for me because like a lot of these things I had never done before. And I think that's something that I'll tackle in my solo travel video, is that the really cool thing about solo travel is it pushes you to do things that you may not normally do. And although I booked the tours prior to, I did not book my volcano tour prior to going to Guatemala. However, I wanted to, but I waited, and I'm glad that I did. Um, it pushed me out of my comfort zone. So when you're doing solo travel, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's, just going to the beach and relaxing or being adventurous, you are going to be pushed out of your comfort zone. And that's something that I appreciate. And I was definitely pushed out of my comfort zone during this trip. So the volcano tour was like something out of this world. It was I don't hike. I'm sorry, it was more of a hike. So it was a volcano hike. Um, that's something I would never do. I don't like hike. And now I want to go on more hikes. So when I travel, I'm going to be looking for hikes to book, which is really cool. So that was just something totally out of this world and different. It was great. So the tour site was actually like literally across from my hotel. So while I was in Antigua, Guatemala, I stayed at the Selena Hotel and Hostel. And I actually learned about this hotel through another YouTube vlogger, and I forget her name, but that's somebody I'm gonna tag as well. I'll like tag everybody who helped me with going to Guatemala. Um, but she's been doing vlogs, travel vlogs for a while. Would have never found out about the Selena if it hadn't been for her. Um, it was a nice hotel. It wasn't like the 5-star Ritz Carlton at all. So if you're one of those travelers, you may not want to stay there. But it was nice. It was a boutique hotel. I did not do the hostel part. I can't do the hostel. Maybe I'll try it with people I know. Big ups to people who do hostels. But I stayed in the hotel part. It was nice. The only thing I couldn't do really well was get really good sleep. Because the streets in Antigua, Guatemala, and you'll see them in my videos, they're all made of cobblestone. It's beautiful. But like, so for the ATV ride, we had to get out of Antigua, Guatemala, but we drive through the city first, and it was just the bumpiest ride. But it was really, really cool. So like at night when I was trying to sleep, it's constant, right? Constant driving on the street. So that made it difficult. Luckily, I actually travel with earplugs because the plane, like my ears pop. I had a really bad incident where my ears popped really, really bad one time, and now I just travel with them. So luckily, I did have earplugs to get me through the last night. I think I finally remembered to put them in. Um, but so I stayed at the Selena, and actually right across from me, it was literally like I could step out, I could go downstairs, and then step out the door of the hotel and walk 5 feet, and then like right across the street was the tour site, and it was called Simoon Rentals and Tours. Awesome people. They were very flexible. People were booking their tours that day for the next day. I booked my volcano tour for the next day. But so that's why I'm glad that I waited. Initially, I booked my ATV Mountain Tour um uh on TripAdvisor, which was cool. So I read reviews and everything. So I wasn't sure about the volcano tour, but I'm glad that I did wait because I was able to book it directly with them once I got there. So that's another suggestion. Like, don't feel the need to plan out your entire trip, right, before you even get there, because there are going to be things that you're going to see or come across along the way. And that was the case for me when I was in Antigua, Guatemala. I did book my photography walk tour on TripAdvisor as well. I think that was a good idea. But like I said, I'll put links to everything. Um, but yeah, it was amazing. I can't remember if I'm including everything that I wanted to include in this intro. But that was my reason for going to Guatemala. The reason I went solo is because I don't wait on other people when I want to actually travel. And I actually like going solo. The only thing I was nervous about this time, because it was my first international trip, I was worried about getting through customs, like what type of questions would they ask, because I've heard some like questionable things from other people. But like, why are you going solo and things like that. And I mean, I got some questions from customs, but it wasn't scary. So I didn't have any issues. I did have as I was entering Guatemala, I think it was when I was entering Guatemala, I got checked. Yeah, I got checked again at the security gate. Actually, my last flight, my flight was long getting there. It was crazy. I was so tired when I got back home, but the flight actually getting to Guatemala was just crazy. Um, so I flew into New York. So I'm from Chicago. Went Chicago to New York, then New York to Miami, then Miami to Guatemala City. So my flight from Miami to Guatemala City is where I got uh, the second like security check, like right at the gate, and I was kind of like annoyed because I mean it's just out of all the people, like I've been seeing people go through, and it's like you pull the black woman out of line to do the extra security, and I get it. Damn, see a lot of us going through there. But it was like he was very like nice about it. I think I was more annoyed because I was tired. It wasn't because he had to do his job, and there was the language kind of barrier there. So because I guess getting into Guatemala, they have of course people from the airline who are from Guatemala. But yeah, it was fine. It wasn't as scary as I thought it was gonna be. I'm trying to think of other logistical things. So flying into Guatemala, I did not have to have a COVID test. I did have to show, of course, proof of being fully vaccinated. But of course, as some of you probably already know, getting back into the United States, I did have to show proof of a negative COVID test. And the cool thing was, and I think I tackled this in one of my other videos, is there was a clinic. Like, so here's, let me see how I can do this. Here's my hotel. So walk across the street. Here's the tour site, and then walk over, in like two buildings over, it was the clinic that did the COVID testing. So you have to have your COVID testing done the day before, right? You have to have it like 24 hours before. It doesn't have to be right at 24 hours, but basically COVID test the day before. You can't have it like 2 days before you fly out. So I had to do my COVID test that Thursday because I was flying back out to the US on Friday. So everything was in like close proximity. I couldn't have planned it better. So the only tip I would give, I don't know how long this is going to be, but it looks like the COVID numbers are rising a little bit again, so there might be some restrictions still in place. I heard Jamaica's taking restrictions off, but my advice, I guess, would be, because you never know when clinics are open, is possibly to make sure, like, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but for me, like when I plan trips this summer, if possible, if I, plan any more international trips besides the ones that I already planned, to leave during a weekday, like, because I took the test on Thursday, flew out on Friday, so like basically not leave on a Sunday or a Monday, and maybe leave on like a Tuesday, so I could have that weekday just in case I need to get to a COVID site. But I'm pretty sure like some testing sites are open like on Saturday. But I don't know. So if anyone has had experience with that, you might want to comment below on the video. Like I said, I'm new to this, new to the international travel. Everybody's kind of new to COVID travel, but I think I'm hitting at like 22 minutes. This video is real raw. So I'm actually just gonna post this as like just my first intro video. And then I'll just make a little Guatemala video for you guys to kind of just link into. Again, I am Danielle, your travel boo. Thank you all my boos and bows for tuning in to Danielle's Travels. I will see you on the flip side.